What's going on, my people? In this video, we are going to be going over what they don't tell you about losing fat, the real reason fat loss fails, and what to do about it. Because here's the thing, a lot of us want to lose weight, we want to get into better shape, but we don't understand what truly comes with it. You can't want the thing, but not also want the sacrifices that you must partake in order to reach that end goal. So in this video, we're going to go over everything you need to know about fat loss and why certain things have to happen. Now, this is the truth that most people will not say out loud about losing fat. It is very emotional, right? You are going to have to change as a person. You cannot be the same person you were from 3 months ago in order to step into the new version of you. It's impossible. And when you go through change, your body changes, your mind changes, your habit changes. And change is not always easy, even if it's for the betterment of yourself, because it's different. With change comes uncertainty. It it could give you anxiety, right? There's a lot of things that change brings. So you have to be willing to accept that. You have to be willing to die to the old version of you because that version can no longer exist anymore. That's just the facts. You're this person and you're trying to become this person. You have to let this person go. And if you're not willing to, then you'll never meet the person that you're actually supposed to be. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down exactly what they don't tell you about fat, what they don't tell you about losing fat, and what you need to do to have the emotional bandwidth to achieve these goals. So, fat loss is going to reveal your real life. All right. And here's what people think: fat loss is about changing your body, eating less, moving more, and watching the number on the scale go down. It sounds simple and the science is simple, but that's not where people struggle. Now, yes, of course, these things are true. You have to eat less, you have to move more, and you will be weighing yourself every day, right? That's what someone smart would tell you. Weigh yourself every day, take the average over the week to see how much weight you lost within that week, what your average is. But the real depth to fat loss is this: it shows you your relationship with stress and food. Because a lot of people emotionally eat and they just run to the kitchen anytime they feel bad because they want to get that dopamine hit in order to feel better about life, right? It's going to show you that the habits that you use to numb the discomfort as well, right? Because when you take away comfort eating, alcohol, late night snacking, you're not only eliminating calories, but you're eliminating the coping mechanisms that you use to feel better. So when people say, I can't stick to a diet, what they're truly saying is, my current lifestyle can't support discipline. And that's the thing that we really have to look at is, what are you using in your life to temporarily make you feel better, and that situation there is actually taking you away from achieving your goals. Now, the second truth is, you will not always feel motivated, and that's normal. Take it from a guy like me. I grew up playing sports, always been active, started lifting weights in high school, and I would say that I'm in great shape, good shape, but I do not always feel like working out. There's days where I do not want to go to the gym. I do not want to go outside and walk. It would feel better to just lay on the couch and watch TV. It honestly would. It would feel better in that moment. But when I go to sleep and I'm getting ready for bed, I'm going to think about that skip workout that I did, and I'm going to feel guilty like, man, I should have went. I wasted the day. And you don't want that, right? And that's where discipline comes into play, right? You have to be disciplined, not motivated. And I always use this analogy: motivation is the sky, or sorry, discipline is the sky. It's always there. You wake up in the morning, you look up, you see the blue sky. Motivation is the sun. Sometimes it's a sunny day, sometimes it's a cloudy day. You want to be the sky and not the sun. All right. So that right there is exactly what fat loss actually feels like. Now, the third truth is yes, the scale is important, but it is not all of your progress, right? There's multiple ways to dictate how you're doing, right? Measurements, how your clothes are fitting, your strength inside of the gym, your daily inputs. Are you taking the walks every day? Are you going to the gym 3 times a week, right? You can measure your progress in that way as well. For some people, they get into the mindset of where if they do not see the scale go down every single day, every single week, they're going to feel like they're doing something wrong. They're going to feel like they're failing. They get emotionally tied to the scale. When in truth, the scale is only information, it's just data. And based off the data, you adjust. But you don't have to get emotional about the scale, right? Because fat loss is not linear. Your body weight is influenced by water retention, stress, sleep quality, digestion, sodium intake, and inflammation from training. And yeah, that's just the truth, man. Like, you just don't want to get tied up into the scale because it could be like, for example, for even for women, right? Because I work with women as well. During their period time, the number on the scale tends to go up. They feel more bloated. It's not that you gained 2 or 3 pounds of fat in one night. It's just that your hormones are operating differently. But if in that same week we notice that your clothes are fitting better, you're getting compliments from your coworkers, then you know you're doing something right. So there's really no need to trip, right? The scale is data, it's not your identity. You have to treat it like a thermometer. It's useful information, but it's not a verdict on your worth or your progress. It doesn't paint the full picture. Now, a lot of people do this when they feel bored, when they just want something to do, they eat. But the truth is, you're not hungry, you're just understimulated, right? Most people think hunger is purely physical, but most modern hunger is something else entirely different. Understanding the difference changes everything about how you approach your cravings. As I said, are you bored or are you hungry? Because if you're bored, you could do anything. You could study, you could go for a walk, you could read, you could do some push-ups at home. You could do something if you're bored. But when people feel bored, automatically they go to the kitchen, right? Now, in terms of stress, are you hungry or are you just stressed, right? Because you could be sitting down in your living room and you have thoughts, man, this went wrong. And you could be feeling overwhelmed. And to distract your mind from that stress feeling, you're automatically going to go to the kitchen. So again, you weren't hungry out and you wanted to eliminate that feeling. And the kitchen is the easiest thing to do, right? Also, you could have habit loops. So, for example, right, as soon as you get home from work, you go straight to the kitchen, right? You just built in that conditioning to you. It's not even like you're hungry. You might have had a snack the moment that you left work, but because your body is so used to, as soon as you step into the house, you go into the kitchen and you eat, you have that habit loop there, you just do it. So, the best thing that you can do is really become conscious of how am I feeling right now and really sit with yourself. If you feel like you're hungry, give yourself 5 minutes, give yourself 10 minutes, drink 2 glasses of water, and then analyze okay, no, I'm actually hungry, or no, I just wanted to eliminate a feeling that I had inside. That's going to help a lot when it comes to, your hunger, your cravings, and just feeling better overall. Because at the end of the day, we have weight loss goals that we want to reach. And each choice that you make is either pushing you towards that goal or further away. And in terms of emotional discomfort, you might have had a bad day at work. You might come home and have some sweets. It's going to make you feel better in the moment. But afterwards, you're going to regret it. And then you're going to feel worse twice over because you ate the sweet when you know you shouldn't. It's making you fatter and you had a bad day at work. So it's better to go to the root of the problem, figure it out, and work through it. Now, this one, I love this one. Truth number five, you don't need more discipline, you need fewer decisions. All right. The real problem, you're not failing because you lack willpower. You're failing because you're making too many decisions every single day, and that mental load quietly destroys consistency. This is so true. Think about it like this. Every day you're making over 10,000 choices. What to eat, when to train, what type of workout, rest times, which way am I going to drive to work, what am I going to wear? I need to call this person. What time should I call them? Oh, I have to run this errand. There's 1,001 things that you need to make choices on every single day. This is decision fatigue. So if you can limit this, it's going to be much easier for you to achieve your goals because your brain has more space, you have more load, right? Now, when it comes to elite fat loss, this is what it actually looks like, right? It's boring. You eat the same breakfasts, same training days, same grocery list, same structure, week after week. Now, you might, excuse me, you might do that for 4 to 6 weeks, then you might change things up a bit. But for the most part, it is very boring. And you have to accept that because boring, it's very easy to be consistent when things are boring, and that consistency is going to get you to your goals. That's why you go to the gym with a plan. That's why you meal prep your food, right? That's why you have a bedtime routine because half of your choices throughout the day are already done, and then you can just focus on the execution. Now, truth number six, this is also a good one. You'll lose your social identity before you lose the fat. This is the one that nobody prepares you for. As you get leaner, something quietly shifts in your social world, and it can feel deeply isolating before it ever feels rewarding. For example, you might be the fat friend, overweight friend, drinking friend, smoking friend. Everyone comes to you to have a good time. But what happens when you prioritize your health? You make changes, and then you're no longer that person. That identity is gone. People aren't going to be calling you anymore. Hey, let's go to the bar. Hey, let's hotbox the car in the winter. No, you're not going to get those calls anymore because people are going to know that, okay, that's not what he or she is on. Right. And you have to be willing to accept that because growth requires separation. So you have to separate from your old habits, old thought processes in order to become the newer version of you. And if you're unwilling to do that, then you're just going to stay the same. And the reason it feels uncomfortable is because we all want to we all want to belong, right? It's a primal need. When your habits change, your belonging shifts. So you're going to lose those friends, but you're going to attract newer friends who are into the same things as you. And that's actually going to push you forward. But you have to be willing to let go. That is the main takeaway. Now, what it actually means, fat loss is identity separation. You have to leave an old version of yourself behind. It's uncomfortable, but that's where the transformation actually begins. Now, the last truth, truth number seven. The last 10 to 15%, it's a completely different game, right? Most people can lose weight. At the start, you're going to have the newbie gains. You could lose 10, 15, 20 pounds fairly quickly. That's going to be phase one because the motivation is high, results come quickly, and habits feel manageable. But then you get into that second phase where the progress does slow down. The newbie gains are no more and you have to work much harder to get the same level of results, right? And that initial excitement fades. The gym doesn't feel as good anymore. Eating healthy doesn't feel as good anymore because you're not seeing the tangible results happen so fast. Now, it's in that middle phase you could go two ways. You can double down and go harder, or you could revert back to your old ways. You got to be conscious of this and make the right choice in order to achieve your goals. And phase number three, of course, is the final phase, right? This is where hunger spikes, sleep gets lighter, cravings intensify, patience runs thin, training fatigue rises, and also this is where people quit, right? So You have to see it all the way through. My pops always used to tell me, if I'm running a 100-meter dash, the finish line isn't 100 meters. It's 110, 120, 130. You want to go above and beyond. You want to sprint through that finish line, right? Because it's not really how you start, it's about how you finish. And you need to finish strong 100% of the time. Now, here's what works. You guys already noticed if you watch my videos. 3 strength training sessions per week. Be emotionally disciplined when it comes to your food. 8 to 10K steps daily. If you can get 12, even better. Consistent calorie structure, right? Track your food, at least for the first bit. That way, you know that you're in a deficit. And eat high protein meals. Base all of your meals around protein. If you can do these things, you will lose fat. And these truths are what you need to know as you embark on your journey. That way, you're mentally prepared for what's to come. Now, the goal was never to just lose fat, right? Because it's really about who you become in the process. It's about the new healthy habits that you gain, right? It's all about the journey. And that goes for anything in life. It's always about the journey. Because once you lose that 20 pounds, you're going to say, hey, you know what? I want to get abs now. I think I want some abs. I think I want my bicep veins to pop more, or my chest, right? And you're going to have all these goals. Now, again, what's important is who you become in the process. Once you lose the weight, you can decide how far you want to take it. But the first thing you need to do is stop chasing, right? You need to stop chasing. You need to start building. And really, the realest goal of them all is changing your identity, right? And you're no longer fighting this uphill battle to eat healthy and work out consistently. It's just who you are, right? Your identity has changed. And once you reach that pinnacle, you know that you're going to be successful with fitness for the rest of your life. If you want help losing fat, click the link below. It'll show you how we took Trey from fat to abs, and you can tap in with me on Instagram as well. God bless. Keep working hard, fellas. Salute.